Hey there! Now today's video is one of the most important videos we've ever done because people ask us this question all the time in global expert space. Peter, what book should I read next? Have you asked yourself this question before? Maybe you have, and the reason for this is because, see, we only have a limited amount of time in our life. We're always limited. We have to work, we have to take care of this, we have to take care of that, and we maybe don't have much time to read. So we have to make sure that every next book that we choose to read is the very best one so that we get the maximum of it, we can apply in our life, and we can literally skyrocket our business. I see so many people, unfortunately, that don't do this and don't do this formula that I'm going to share with you. I'm pretty excited. It has been working for year after year after year. I've shared this formula with a lot of our students, and everyone is saying, Peter, this is how I choose a book to read now. It's awesome, it's great, it's working for me, and I'm extremely happy and wanted to share this with you guys here on our YouTube channel, and I hope that it works for you as well. So how do you choose the next book to read for yourself? And first, let me just share that I don't know if you're planning on reading novels for entertainment, but this formula is going to work best for personal development books, business books, books that you read for the purpose of learning something specific to apply in your life. You see, you can also use some of the principles, in fact, for finding the right novels, for finding the right entertainment books to read, but not everything is going to apply. So just kind of to give you an idea to set the right expectations. Does this sound cool? Okay, so what is this formula about and how do you choose the best book to read? What is the formula that is working like magic to ensure the absolute maximum results every single time with the books you're reading? Well, the first formula is, people don't do this, but it's so important, is you have to get clear already on writing down all the important categories in your life. Now, what do I mean? See, if I ask you what are the different important categories in your life, maybe you're going to tell me, okay, well, relationships, maybe health, maybe business, but you have to be more specific than this depending on your situation. For example, with me, since for me at this stage of my life, business is pretty important. So for example, my categories when it comes to business, we have product development, we have finance, we have operations, we have sales. You see what I mean? So depending on your situation in your life, you need to have your categories as specific as you'd like them to be. For example, when it comes to health, I only have one category, health. I don't have, for example, cardiovascular exercises books and this kind of area in terms of health. It's not as specific, but when it comes to business, it's specific. So you have to decide for yourself, okay, how am I going to set out my categories in my life? And you would see this is really important, because if you don't have this, then it's going to be really difficult to do these exercises to choose the best book to read. And the best place that I use as a tool, actually the best tool that you can use to kind of put your categories together, is a website called Goodreads.com. Maybe you've heard about Goodreads, but the great thing about Goodreads is that you go to Goodreads.com and you can set out your categories. As you just mentioned, I have, for example, health, I have net worth management, I have relationships. Then when it comes to business, we have sales, we have online distribution, we have product development, we have this, we have that, and I have all these specific categories to where I put books inside that maybe I've read already, that I want to read, but I have all these categories in my life. And Goodreads, it's a great place to do this. So many people create Goodreads account and they add me as a friend on Goodreads, but they don't have categories, and it's really difficult for them to kind of manage the books that they read, to kind of manage the information that they consume on a daily basis and what they need, understanding exactly what it is that they need, because they don't have these categories. So it seems simple, but it's really important. So do them as specific as you'd like them to be. Now, the second step, after you have all the categories that are important in your life, the second step is this. You're going to, okay, ask yourself the question, now, where do you struggle the most right now? Where do I struggle the most right now? You see, this is a great question, and that's why it's so important to have the specific categories, because see, let me give you an example. For example, if I'm in business, and if we're making sales, and the way we make money is by having other people buying our products and services, yes? And so what is happening is that if I'm not making money maybe, and if I have financial problems per se, what is happening is that I may say, okay, so what is the category that I have some problems in? Is the problem in the category of managing my money, okay, which might be a different category than actually making money? So you see, I can see which is the category that I have a problem with. Do I have problem managing my money so that I spend too much and I don't have enough money to pay my bills? Or is the problem that I'm not making enough money? Well, if the problem is that I'm not making enough money, maybe the problem is in the sales category. Maybe I don't know how to make enough sales. Maybe I'm not good enough of a salesman. Maybe the problem is in online distribution, whatever, the way you sell your products and services, not sales, speaking with people per se, but people buying your product. You know what I mean? Or maybe, okay, if my heart rate is bumping too loud or too fast. Maybe my health, maybe I have an issue with my health. Maybe I have an issue with something in regards to my health. So this is the health category. You see, that's why it's so important in the first step to set your categories the best way possible, because especially when it comes to business, so many people in business, for example, you need traffic, you need potential customers coming to your website. This is one. You see, because if you don't have potential customers to your website, the problem is not really sales. The problem is that you're not having enough people coming to your website in the first place. So you see, it sounds like it makes a lot of sense, and maybe you're saying, Peter, this is easy stuff, but people don't spend enough time thinking about the categories. It seems easy, but it's not as easy until you actually sit down, you do the hard work, you do the thinking, and you set the categories right, and you do the best specific categories that you think are the best. Then you have to actually spend this time and say, okay, where am I struggling in my life right now? See, the problem that people have with choosing the best book to read is they say, what book should I read next? And a friend of theirs says, you should read this book, it's a great book, I just read it. But the problem is that maybe this is a health book. But maybe you're in great shape. Maybe you've never been in such a great shape, you feel fantastic, you work out every single day, you eat clean food, but yet you're not making enough money so that you live comfortably, right? And you're reading health books. You should be reading sales books, right? You should be reading books on how to build your own business. You should read books on how you can get promoted in life so that you can start making more money. This is the problem. That's why it's so important to get clarity and get to choose the best category. Don't listen to people telling you this is the best book that you should read, because they don't know what is it that you need most help with right now. There's something specific that you need most help with right now, and when you're choosing the best books to read, you have to identify the specific category. The more specific, the better, and not just read some random stuff that other people recommend. Does this make sense? Then you're going to have the maximum results, of course. And then here comes the magic. Number 3 is actually pretty good. What you're going to do is you're going to find the best books on the specific topic. For example, I just mentioned, okay, so enough people come to my website, enough people see that what I have to offer, enough people see my presentation, for example, or our presentation for one of our products, and they see the presentation, they see it's a great product, but they don't buy it. So I say, okay, so I have enough people coming to the website, so the problem is not traffic. Right? The problem is not traffic, the problem is sales. The problem is maybe the presentation is not selling. Why is the presentation not selling? Is it not convincing enough? Is something missing? So I know that the problem is in this category. So now you have to be really specific exactly where the problem is, so then you can go and you can find the best books on the topic. Does this make sense? So if I know that the problem with us selling is specifically the presentation that sells the product, I'm going to ask, well, I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to ask, what are the best sales books when it comes to presenting a product? What are the best sales books when it comes to presenting a product? And I'm going to check, and I'm going to see some different lists. Maybe on Google some books are going to pop up, maybe on YouTube some books are going to pop up, and I'm going to make a list, and I'm going to have a list with the best books specifically for this topic. Again, the key is specific. The key is not just going out there reading sales books because you're not making money. The key is to making sure, knowing exactly where the problem is. The more specific, the better the outcome is going to be in your life. Easy, sounds easy. No one is doing it, my friend. We tested it with a lot of our students, and every single time I get amazed. And people tell me, Peter, this is life-changing, but I actually had to start apply it. You know, so please start applying this if you want to have the results. I really want you to have the results. And then what you do, once you have the list of the specific books, what you have to do is you have to rank them by importance. So which is the best book from this list? Maybe you found 5 books. And how do you find the books, by the way? So I gave you an idea. You can go to Google, you can type, hey, I'm looking for this kind of book. You can go to different websites like Quora and say, hey, I'm looking to develop my skills in this specific area. I have issues with this specific area. What are the books that I should read? And people tell you. Well, another thing that you can do, as soon as you find one book, as soon as you find one single book, you go on Amazon.com, and what you do is you pretty much type in the name of the book, and as the book shows up, below the book, other suggested similar books pop up. So you go to Amazon, you look at the other titles that are similar, because below this book, Amazon will tell you people who buy this book also buy this other book, and you're going to find the books there. Also, you can do the same thing on Goodreads.com. That's why I love Goodreads so much. You can read the similar books. It will tell you, hey, okay, the people who like this book also like these other books. So you're going to check out the books, and you're going to read the reviews. And you're going to very carefully read the reviews, and you're going to listen to what people say. If people say, well, the reason I read this book is because I wanted to solve this specific issue, and you're going to see if this is the book that you want to read yourself based on the reviews. I know this seems like a lot of work. When I tell this to people, they tell me, Peter, this sounds like a lot of work. Well, this is actually 15 minutes. Isn't it more work to read one of these guys? And actually, I'm pretty excited that our team was able to pull this off. This might fall every single moment, so I might give it this. But see, here's the deal. It takes a lot of time to read a book. So I much rather do the exercise and not waste my time and get the absolute maximum of reading a book than just reading some random stuff. Isn't this true? So many people don't do it, my friend. And so after you have the books, you're going to rank them. You're going to pay attention to it, and you're going to say, okay, so now the best book on this topic is this. The second best book on this topic is this. The third best book on this topic is right this. Now you'll tell me, okay, Peter, now I have 3 books. What should I do with these 3 books? Should I read the 3 of them? Should I buy them? And you choose 3 books. And here pretty much I put, so you rank them, you find the best books on the topic and you rank them. Then what you do is you read the, I actually gave it to you in advance, right? You're going to read the summaries and or choose what full book to read. And let me elaborate here. First, let me say that, see, if you're looking for an entertaining book to read like a novel, you can still do the same exercise, and you can check on Amazon, you can see what other books people like from the same author, or they're similar to the one that you already like. But for self-development books, for success books, this works like magic. So here's what you do. You have the 3 best books to read. You have the list of the 5 best. You kind of got the list down to the 3 absolute best. So what do you do then? You have a choice. The first thing that you do, it's an amazing thing, is you can read the summaries of these 3 books. And there are amazing services online that you can read the summaries, but the one that I like best, it's called GetAbstract. I absolutely love this service. I'm going to put a link below this video, but it's an amazing service because it takes you 15 minutes to read a book, and it's a German service, so you can make sure it's very precise. Now, when you hear Germany, I don't know what you imagine, but I imagine some meticulous engineers doing everything to perfection, kind of like Mercedes and BMW. But it's an amazing service. They pretty much crafted the absolute best from the book. So basically, they take a book and they get the best from the best from the best, and they summarize it in 15 minutes, maybe 20-minute read. It's the absolute best. I like this service sometimes before I go to bed. If I haven't read this day, I just read a full book and I read the summary for 15-20 minutes, I'm done. Now, the great thing about this service is that you can go out there and you can find the 3-4 books. Now, maybe they won't have them, but they have most of the great books that are coming out. So you're going to check out the books and you're going to read the summaries. It's going to take you 30 minutes, it's going to take you 45 minutes, and it works like magic. You're going to know how to solve your problems just by reading the summary, let alone reading the full book. But then when you read the summaries, then you can say, okay, well, I really like this specific book since I read the 3 summaries, and this is the full book that I'm going to read. This is the full book I'm going to read, and I'm already made sure because I read the summaries, I know this is the best book, and this is the book that I'm going to read. Or if you don't want to do the summaries, if you kind of feel very comfortable in your research and you have, okay, these are the 4 books, you can straight up buy the book. But the reason why I like the summaries anyway, because as I just mentioned, sometimes people say, yeah, but I don't like summaries, they're not well done, and you know, I just prefer to read the full book. But then a day passes by and people haven't read. And I'm saying, well, if you have read the summary, it would have only taken you 15 minutes and it's better than nothing. In fact, it's so up to the quality of the summary. You can check different summary websites online. I haven't found anything better that is in GetAbstract. Again, I'm pretty sure also in the link below that I'm going to put, they even have a free trial. So you can sign up for free for 24 hours. You can read as many books as you want. And let me know if you're hooked or not. Because when I first got the trial, I was like, no, I'm not paying for this thing, right? But I got hooked on the trial and I read, I think, 5 or 6 books in the first 24 hours. And I said, I'm done. I'm getting this. This is the best thing. So try the summaries. Don't just let it go because it's a great thing. And then as a bonus, the last bonus thing that I'd like to give you, since you watched the full video, maybe some people just kind of finished with it already. Here's the bonus that I have for you. Now, we read a lot of books. Maybe if you found this video, read a lot of books. Now, these are just some of the books that we have here in the Global Expert Space headquarters. And I read a lot of books, and I always tell people that read a lot of books because the average person reads 1 book a year. Can you imagine? It's ridiculous, 1 book a year and maybe just half of it. And if you read a lot of books, I tell people the most important thing that you have to do is, first of all, teach other people about what you learned. Because when you teach people what you learn it even better. Now, check this out. If you try to explain to someone in your family, to a friend of yours, to a colleague, to a business partner, what you just read, you're going to remember it even better. So I tell people, well, if you've read a lot of books, and if you keep learning every single time, why don't you start creating content? Why don't you start writing blog posts, doing videos, maybe like the one I do, teaching other people what you've learned? First of all, you're going to be learning things even better. Second of all, you're going to be building these assets and you're going to make a difference. People say, why would people listen to me? But there's so many other people who want to learn what you already know. The average person is reading just 1 book. What you already know is valuable for a lot of people. They don't care about your accent, maybe they don't care where you're from, they care what you've read and they want to learn it from you. And tell people, nowadays it's easier than ever to monetize this. You can monetize this, you can create online courses and actually make a difference for other people and get rewarded along the way. There are courses from $47 to $2,000 that you can create, and when I tell people this, they're like, Peter, seriously? And this is why we created with Global Expert Space a free training series that I'm really excited about. It's a free training series that is teaching people how to take your knowledge, how to take your passion, skills, what you've learned back through the years, through books, through courses, through masterminds, through life experience, through life stories. Maybe you're a graphic designer, maybe you've read about personal development, maybe you read about holistic medicine, maybe you've done whatever, right? But how about you take this and we teach you how to package this in an online course so that you can help other people, you leave your legacy, you have this on your business card. When you meet your people, you say, hey, I actually created this thing, right? This is my asset, this is mine, I help people, etc. And you monetize your knowledge. There's so many people nowadays looking for information, and that's why we created this free training series that I'd like to give you for free. It's a really high quality. We went to skyscrapers, we went to the desert, even went to so many places just to create this free training series, the best one. This is the most exclusive content that we've ever done. We don't have it here on the YouTube channel, that's why it's with special invitation, and I'm going to put the link down in the description below, and you're going to see it at the end, the last 20 seconds of the video. So check this training out, it's the best we've ever done. I promise you that you're going to absolutely love it. Of course, if you're someone that wants to take your knowledge, passion, and skills, people ask me, Peter, how do I do what you do? How do I teach people and make money along the way? Is it lucrative? I'm like, you kidding me? Have you been living under a rock? Don't you see all these people online? You can do this and it's easier than ever before. As long as you read some books, right? As long as you learn some stuff, but you can research. So that's pretty much for me. I hope you're going to get to check out the summaries. Even my girlfriend didn't believe that she said, I'm not reading any summaries. She got hooked. I got hooked. We're reading these summaries all the time. We get to read even more. And so check GetAbstract in the description. Sign for the free trial. And most importantly, check out our free training series and start thinking about making your own difference in the world and getting rewarded along the way. So this is pretty much for me, Peter Antonov, the founder of Global Expert Space, signing out. If you like this video, like it. And more importantly, I want you to let me know in the comments below, do you have any other suggestions? Have you tried this formula? How do you yourself choose what book to read? Do you have a system on choosing the best book to read? Do you follow this system kind of subconsciously? Do you have something else to add to the community? I'm sure there are other amazing things that we're going to hear from you guys, so I really want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if this was valuable, subscribe. We're coming out with this video with these videos once every week, so make sure that you're going to be receiving the future videos if you like this one by subscribing. It's easy, click subscribe, done deal, and you're going to be receiving this video. So like this video, let me know in the comments below, subscribe, and I'm going to see you. I hope this was helpful, and I can't wait to see you in the next video when you subscribe. See you later.